Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Part 1 and Part 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. The episodes aired on Friday on Disney Plus, and a lot happened. It kind of set the stage of what we're looking at for the future of Star Wars, or what the main stories are going to be for the future, I guess. Or at least how dark it's going, I guess is a better way of saying than the direction. So the episode starts with a recap of the movies, the prequels, to kind of show what happens to those who hadn't seen it yet, or at least a reminder overall. And then we get into Order 66, and we see a bunch of younglings um, being trained by a Jedi Master. Order 66 happens, fight ensues, and they try to get those kids out of there. So they try to escape. Their masters pretty much die, but kills all the clones around them, and these 5 kids escape. Or at least so it looks. So the episode then officially starts with Obi-Wan, Mr. Kenobi, just doing his day-to-day stuff, which is kind of depressing, because he's been on Tatooine for the past 9 years now, and he is, it's not fish, it's some sort of land creature that looks like it's a fish, like a land fish. I know it sounds stupid when I say it, but Star Wars is weird. So anyway, it looks like he's on some sort of farm type thing, or where he kind of cuts up these pieces of this creature for this owner. And we see the kind of dynamic, and we also see Obi-Wan kind of being submissive. He looks defeated, mentally, emotionally, just overall just defeated. Not the Obi-Wan we know. So this continues on for a while. Then we have the Inquisitors come in. Sorry. We have third sister, fifth brother, and the Grand Inquisitor on Tatooine looking for a Jedi, specifically in this particular cafe or pub. We see the dynamic where fifth brother is kind of more of follow the rules. Grand Inquisitor is much more the leader, likes to hear himself talk. And then we have the third sister, who is much more, she's definitely much more aggressive, angry, and impulsive. She actually scopes out the Jedi rather quickly by throwing a knife at the owner, and where one of the where the Jedi actually stops it, and then runs away, and it actually escapes. So we also see conflict right away between third sister and the Inquisitor, because she tries to cut the Jedi in half, and he wasn't having it because I guess they need them for interrogation to find out where the rest of the Jedi are. So they leave, and the Jedi escapes. So later on, we see Mr. Kenobi meeting with one of the Ewoks, gets a little toy and everything else, and then we see him scoping out Luke's home, where we see Luke kind of running around. Then we have Obi-Wan drop off the toy and go home. On his way home, the Jedi that we saw that escaped the Inquisitors is trying to team up with Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan goes, he's not who the guy thinks he is, and to just give it up. They lost the war and it's done. And so the Jedi reluctantly leaves, even though he wasn't too thrilled about what was going on. The next day, we see Obi-Wan going through the same thing as he did before, cutting up the fish, and then when the day ended, he goes back, and we see him about to leave, grab his creature, I want to call it a camel. It's very similar to a camel, but it's not a camel. I don't know the actual name of it. But anyway, he gets that, and as it happens, um, Owen, who is Luke's uncle, throws the toy back at Obi-Wan and says never to come back to his farm again. They have an exchange. Um, Owen says some mean things, specifically, talking about how he failed to save Anakin, and kind of hurts Obi-Wan right in the feels, right in the force. So as this is going on, the Inquisitors come back. They explain what they're looking for and what they want, and that they want um, information on the Jedi. The third sister is very incisive. So this is specifically just fifth brother and third sister, pretty much interrogating everybody, and she just doesn't care. She cuts off a woman's hand for speaking out of turn, and then she uses Jedi mind tricks to get inside the mind of Owen to understand what was going on. She doesn't get enough to know that Obi-Wan's there, but she does get enough to know that he has some sort of idea of Jedi. And he explains he hates Jedi and they're scum and he hates scum. Then she threatens his entire family, and in the end, Fifth Brother stops her and gets them to leave. He has a talk with her, basically saying, "You got to knock it off. This is not what we want. Obi-Wan is not here. He doesn't exist anymore." And so that is the big fight about that. Then the next day, they see the Jedi dead, hanging up on the square so everyone can see. It's always nice. And then we go to where Leia lives, Alderaan. I almost forgot the name. And we see that she's spontaneous, doesn't like to do work, and likes to have fun. So she's actually traded places with somebody to run out into the woods. Mother gets her. We also see in these scenes when they bring her back um, how intelligent she is, but also the fact that we see some force abilities here, where she kind of gets inside the minds of other people, specifically with her cousin, when he basically tells her that she's not part of the family and she's just adopted. And she basically knocks him down a few pegs by telling him how afraid he is of his father and that, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? Um, and it definitely seeing some Jedi Force abilities. So as this is going on, she gets in trouble. Then she leaves to go into the woods again. Bounty hunters pick her up. Now, while she's escaping from the bounty hunters, we see some more Force abilities where she's sliding very skillfully on the ground to avoid these guys. But they eventually get her, and they capture her and take her away. This is where the senator calls Obi-Wan to try to get him to help Leia. Obi-Wan refuses, saying he's not the guy he thinks he is anymore, that the senator thinks he is anymore, and he's got to get somebody else to do it. Well, Obi-Wan goes back to work. He does the same thing again. When he comes home, the senator's there and explains that he needs him to do this, and she's just as important as Luke is, and he needs to actually do it. So Obi-Wan reluctantly agrees, even though he's not thrilled about it. He goes into the desert, grabs his lightsaber, and goes off planet. So that's the end of the first episode. Next episode, we get and land in this pretty much like criminal underworld. And we find out that Third Sister was the one that planned Leia being captured, so that way Obi-Wan would come out of hiding. So Obi-Wan starts looking around to try to find Leia. And what happens is he finds this young boy who tells him that he'll bring him to a Jedi to help out. Come to find out, when he gets there, this Jedi is not a real Jedi. He's a con artist. And Obi-Wan's just not having it. Puts a gun to him, breaks his toys, and says he wants all the information he can on the kidnapping of the girl. And the guy gives him all the information, but tells him he's not going to be able to get in, especially the way he looks. So when he gets there, he sees all this stuff. Obi-Wan sneaks in, takes the uniform of one of the spice makers. Spice is like a drug. it's a weapons thing and it's a drug thing. It's a weird. I don't know if they just use spice as a term for all powder or what, but spice in general has been mentioned many times, and it's been used as weaponry for weapon, like just for weapons in general, but also it's been used as a drug. So it's apparently very versatile. Not quite sure exactly what it entails. But anyway, he goes into the spice making plant, sneaks into the back. We see him fight for the first time, and he gets his butt handed to him. Apparently, 9 years has not done Obi-Wan well. He does beat up the guys, but he does take a pounding. It's kind of sad to see. But eventually, he gets to where he thinks the girl is. He gets ambushed by the bounty hunters, and he gets captured rather easily. While this happens, he drops a thing of spice, gets on his respirator, and escapes. Finds the girl, finds Leia, who actually tries to hit him, which is kind of funny. But anyway, so he escapes with her, and they leave. So third sister comes while they're all drugged up and is pissed off that Obi-Wan isn't there, and she goes hunting for him. So Obi-Wan is now trying to escape. So he's trying to get Leia to change her clothing and everything else, but Leia knows that he's hiding something. Not quite sure what it is, but she also knows that something's not right, and she's not quite sure what it is. And she's kind of deduced that he's a Jedi only from the fact that he's got a lightsaber. Although she's not fully convinced that he's on her side, which is a bizarre thing, but at the same time, she is only 9 and she's only ever been on planet. So on her own planet, so it's not like she knows everything going on. So third sister orders a full bounty hunt on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Leia finds out and she's very concerned at who this guy is, and she tries to escape. So Obi-Wan goes after her while all these bounty hunters are trying to kill him. While this is going on, he does kill a few of them. Leia tries to get away from him on top of buildings, jumps a bunch of them. There's a bigger gap in one of them. She jumps, misses, is holding on to like some sort of clothesline. She falls. He uses the Force to make sure she lands safely on the ground, and he gets down and runs with her. We, as he's going, so they then get a chance to escape because the fake Jedi gives them passage to get out of there from a supply ship. So they go. While this is happening, third sister goes after the fake Jedi, or I'm sorry, gets interrupted by the fake Jedi. She uses her mind tricks, realizes where Obi-Wan is, and goes after him. So she gets in there before Obi-Wan and Leia can get into the ship. Obi-Wan gives the device to Leia and says, go. I'll catch up to you, and if something happens, go without me. So Obi-Wan stays hidden, and she starts talking about, how it's been so long since they found him, and she also explains to him that Darth Vader is alive, who is Anakin, because he didn't know who Darth Vader was, but she explained that Darth Vader is Anakin and that he's still alive. And this is where Obi-Wan has like a little bit of a panic attack. The Grand Inquisitor comes in, explains that he's not going to be allowing Third Sister to do this anymore, and he goes to take care of the problem. She stabs him with her lightsaber, and Obi-Wan takes this opportunity to go into the ship, and Leia and him take off. Third Sister runs to try to stop them. It doesn't work, and that's the end of the episode. So, a lot of things to unpack. Obi-Wan has kind of given up on the Force, it seems, and given up on everything. He has no confidence in himself whatsoever, and we see that throughout these 2 episodes completely. We also see a clone trooper, which I didn't mention in this earlier, and it's 9 years after the war started, or after the Empire takes place, and because of it, we know, because of Bad Batch, that they cycle through and get rid of a lot of clones. So it's not that surprising that there's a clone still around. homeless and begging for change. But I'd be curious to see how many other clones are left. It has been 9 years. This clone didn't recognize Obi-Wan Kenobi, or at least didn't look like it. So I'd be curious to see who that clone was, if he even matters. He could be just a random clone trooper. We see three Inquisitors and then the Grand Inquisitor. Third sister, fifth brother, and I think it's fourth sister. I think that's fourth sister, although that has not been confirmed. The Grand Inquisitor gets stabbed with a lightsaber in this, and I don't think he's dead, but if he is, it's very odd that they would kill him off when Rebels hasn't started yet. So that's going to be an interesting one. So I'm not quite sure how that works, but we'll know more in the next episode. A lot of things are going on. I'm not surprised that the focus was not on Luke, because the whole trilogy was about Luke, really. Where this one makes sense that Luke wouldn't be really involved in this because Obi-Wan doesn't really train Luke yet. So it makes sense that, granted, I was surprised that we were going with Leia's story, but I'm not mad about it. So I'm definitely interested to see where this is going to go. We obviously know there's going to be some sort of actual fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader at some point. It has to be. There's no way they're not going to. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there. And also what happens to the Grand Inquisitor, because I didn't think he was supposed to die yet. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if it was a mistake, like they weren't supposed to, and they forgot about it, or if he survives it. Because we don't actually see him die. We just assume he's dead. But, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you like these two episodes? Because personally I did. It's definitely dark. It's definitely a dark show. And I think it's going to get darker before it gets brighter, I guess is the best way to put it. Also, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.